In the headlines, court grants suspended CBN governor bail over illegal possession of firearms. Gunmen abduct ex-councillor, businesswoman in Abuja. Troops kill 7 suspected terrorists, recover machine gun motorcycles in Zamfara State. And on the international scene, 30 killed in Algeria wildfire. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in details. Justice Nicola Owebo of the Federal High Court, Lagos, has granted bail to the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, in the sum of 20 million naira. In a ruling on Tuesday, the presiding judge said the charges against Emefiele are bailable. Emefiele is to produce one surety with landed property within the court jurisdiction, must deposit his passport and also produce civil servant not below level 16 to perfect the bail condition. Emefiele had pleaded not guilty in the 2-count charge bordering on alleged illegal possession of firearms preferred against him by the Department of State Service. Emefiele was dogged and charged before Justice Nicholas Owebo. The prosecution accused Emefiele of illegally possessing a single-barrel shotgun, Joseph Magnum 8371. His counsel, Joseph Dauda San, moved bail application for the defendants, but the Deputy Director of Prosecution Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, N.B. Jones, says they are yet to be served with a bail application and that they seek to give a formal response to the bail request. According to the government, the offense violates Section 4 of the Firearm Act, Cap F28 laws of the Federation 2004 and is penalized under Section 27(1)(b) of the same Act. Emefiele has been in detention since June 10th. Insecurity, gunmen in the early hours on Monday attacked the Shenagu community located on the outskirts of Zuba town in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The attackers, who were said to have arrived the area some minutes before 1 a.m. on motorbikes, went straight to the house of a former councillor representing Tungan Maji ward in Gwagwalada Council in the FCT, Yunusa Tanko, and surrounded its fence. A leader in the community said the attackers forced the gates of the house open, and in the process, the councillor, who had attempted to escape through a door around the house backyard, was rounded up by other gang members who had laid an ambush there. He said the gunmen have also tied a little son of the ex-councillor after he tried to raise an alarm by shouting. In other developments, a businesswoman with a foodstuff shop at Tunganladan, a community under the same Zuba chiefdom in Abuja, have been abducted. The incident, which took place on Friday, led to the shooting of a male youth in the community who reportedly tried to offer help to the woman by rushing toward her home. The Osun State Police Command has recovered 2 stolen cars from armed robbers and arrested 2 suspects. The cars were recovered by the police anti-kidnapping squad in the state through diligent investigation. Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
The armed robbers snatched the car at gunpoint in Ede and also carted other valuables away. Residents of the area reported the incidents to the police, and the Commissioner of Police in the state, Kehinde Longe, deployed the anti-kidnapping squad to effect the arrest of the suspects.
As I was about entering my house at exactly 7:30 in the evening, so armed robbers ambushed me. Then they collected the cart away with our 2 vehicles, other valuables, and as soon as they left, we were able to inform the nearest police station, and the case was referred to the police headquarters here.
When he brought the motor, I was not around. He gave it to one of my brother. So they registered it, and the motor was given to my brother. My brother was using it. So when police tracked the motor, that was when we know that it was a stolen vehicle. Initially, I didn't know.
I bought a Toyota Corolla 2011 model, and it was a stolen car.
The commander of the anti-kidnapping squad, Moses Lohor, said his team has decimated the kidnappers operating in the state and assured residents of safety of their lives and properties.
You recall that the other time we arrested some suspects in Oyo State and we were able to charge them to court. We arrested a couple of suspects in Iwo who have been charged to court. We had an engagement with some kidnappers along Ikirun Road, which led to the death of one of the kidnappers. And since then, the consistent kidnapping that has been taking place along Ikirun Road has become a thing of the past. And even the other two, about a month ago, this command was able to recover about 12 vehicles that have been stolen by armed robbers through the anti-kidnapping section. And apart from that, we were able to arrest 36 suspects in connection to different cases of armed robbery and kidnapping that occurred within the last 2 months.
The Commissioner of Police in the state, Kainde Longe, commended his men for their dedication to duty. He assured the people of the state of their safety and said that the suspect will face the full wrath of the law. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
Troops of Sector 1 Operation Hadarindaji, in conjunction with troops deployed at Forward Operation Base, 1K District in Gusau local government area of Zamfara State, have killed no fewer than 7 armed bandits, while several others fled with gunshot wounds. Eyewitness explained that the gallant troops organized an ambush operation along the road suspended to be used by the terrorists after they got information that a large number of suspected terrorists were attempting to infiltrate and attack troops at the Kango Sabua community in the 1K district of Gusau local government area of Zamfara State. The commander of Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarindaji, Major General Godwin Motkote, commended the troops for their bravery and resilience in dealing with the armed bandits. The Kogi State Police Command said its operatives attached to Ife Olukotu in Ijomo local government area in the state in a joint operation with the local vigilantes killed 2 kidnappers and rescued 1 victim. The Police Command's Police Public Relations Officer, PPROSP William Aya, disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday morning that the feat was achieved through intelligence-led operation in the areas. He added that in the course of the operation, the operatives recovered 1 AK-47 rifle with 14 rounds of live ammunition. Aya said the move was in compliance with the directive of the Commissioner of Police, Kogi State Police Command, Onoha Bethrand, to sustain the tempo of the ongoing onslaught against criminal elements and to deny them safe haven in the state. Meanwhile, the Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects for allegedly gang raping of a 15-year-old girl in Mayo Belwa local government area of the state. This is contained in a statement issued by the command's spokesperson SP Suleiman Ungoroje in Yola on Tuesday. The suspects are Uzairu Namfulani, 25, Hassan Nasser, 25, and Yahya Edward, 26. The suspect abducted the girl on July 20th when she boarded a tricycle from Mayo Belwa to Ungurori. The State Commissioner of Police in Adamawa, Afolabi Babatola, has ordered a thorough investigation into the crime with a view to prosecuting these perpetrators. Ngoroje called on residents to be vigilant, report any suspicious activity to the police, and key into the command's effort towards fighting all forms of gender-based violence. The leadership of the Nigerian Senate have assured traditional rulers of constitutional role in governance, which it said would be affected through constitution amendment. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, gave the assurance during an audience with the royal fathers across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Mr. Akpabio, who gave the assurance in response to request made to that the effect by the traditional rulers, said roles of the royal fathers in the governance, particularly on security matters, are very important. Earlier in his speech on behalf of the traditional rulers, the Esu of Nupe, Yahya Abubakar, who represented the chairman of the National Traditional Council of Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar, said the constitutional role of traditional rulers was expunged by framers of the 1979 Constitution.
We were more secured at that time than now. It because the traditional rulers were properly placed and given proper roles to play in the security of lives and properties. It was an anathema when somebody is ostracized from the society as a result of crime. Hardly will somebody marry a child from that family. So it wasn't just a function of you avoiding crime. It was a function of trying to ensure that you don't bring generational costs upon your family.
So we went further to encourage the President of the Senate and his distinguished colleagues to ensure that God-given resources of this country are used for the development of the country and our citizenry. We urge and advise harmonious working relationship between the Senate, the House of Representatives, the executives, and the judiciary in order to achieve the potentials of this great nation.
The Emir of Zazzau and Deputy National President of Jama'atul Nasr al-Islam, Malam Ahmed Nuhuba Mali, has approved the appointment of the new Kaduna State Chairman of Jama'atul Nasr al-Islam. He is Professor Muhammad Shafiu Abdullahi, former AG Registrar, National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies. Abdullahi, who is also the Wakil in Makarantar Zazzau, is a professor of Arabic from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. A statement signed by and issued in Zaria by the Media and Publicity Officer of the Emirates said the decision was taken on Monday after a meeting at the Emir's Palace. The Emir has also approved the immediate termination of appointment of all principal officers of Jama'atul School of Health Technology Zaria, a subsidiary of GNI. The statement said all appointment takes immediate effect. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at negative impact of social media. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify. But
there are people who say not spending money is not about you.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation. with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its high horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago, you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here's a recap of our top stories. Report you, court grants suspended CBN governor bail over illegal possession of firearms. And gunmen abduct ex-councillor businesswoman in Abuja. Now moving on, two more stories. Amnesty International Nigeria has demanded a transparent coroner's inquest on 103 slain EndSARS protesters for whom the Lagos state government is planning a mass burial, saying the plans should be put on hold. This follows the emergence of a leaked memo addressed to the Lagos State Ministry of Health, indicating that the state government approved 61,285,000 naira for the mass burial of 103 persons identified as 2020 EndSARS victims. The memo dated July 19, 2023, capturing the steps for the processing of funds after approval by the governor, surfaced on social media on Sunday morning, sparking outrage. The Lagos state government, however, maintained that the victims to be buried were not from the controversial Lekki tollgate shooting. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Olusegun Ogboye, while confirming the letter, insisted that the victims were from incidents of violence that occurred in the aftermath of the EndSARS protest. The human rights group added that the authorities must also carry out transparent coroner inquests and autopsies on the 103 EndSARS victims and publish their identities and the circumstances of their death. Now, residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have decried the negative impact of social media and the alleged failure of the government to regulate its operations on the country. As a result, young folks have decided to capitalize on the social media platforms for negative reasons, a situation that has led to a further deterioration in the values of ethnic groups in Nigeria. Jimmy Adzade reports.
Nigerians on the streets of Makurdi agree that the social media should propagate positive cultural values and not the conception of many youths who prefer to explore the negative aspects of the social media applications.
The space is unregulated. And because it is not regulated, everybody is an author. And then every kind of information is flying over there. And so it's difficult to regulate. It's difficult. Because can we say there are channels that are teaching cultural values? There are sites on social media that are dedicated to teaching cultural values. That's one point. Will young people be ready to patronize such sites? That is another point. And from all indications, they are not ready. The things that interest us young people now which we find on social media are not those that promote our own culture.
Some media influencers said there's a lot of bullying that goes on because of the lack of proper regulations.
So the government needs lots and lots of things to do in terms of educating those that are actively involved in social media, so that certain informations, especially informations that borders on the integrity of the country, the national unity, or that are likely to create tension, should be regulated, when it's put on the social media. Or the practitioner should be guided properly and educated on certain informations they need to put out there or not to put out there. I think with that, it will go a long way in checkmating abuses on social media.
Others said the government must address the issues of unemployment to control social media rascality.
It's because of lack of jobs that everybody has taken to social media to make ends meet. If there are jobs, there are some graduates who, for 10 years, they have never seen a little employment, and they have to take to social media to create problems and unweigh problems. They tell lies to be able to get what they want. They can now tell you in the social media, tell you there's going to be a coup d'etat today or tomorrow. And you say, I have told you, it's a bottomless issue.
Despite its merit, all agreed that the social media, if not termed, is another early warning sign of a major societal crisis in waiting. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima has said Nigeria is mobilizing over $500 million for innovative, profitable, equitable and sustainable food system transformative initiative. The Vice President made this disclosure while chairing a high-level meeting on the first day of the UN Food Systems Summit declared open in Rome, Italy by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. This was contained in a statement signed by Olusola Abiola, the Director of Information in the Office of the Vice President. Vice President Shettima said the funds were mobilized through domestic resources, multilateral development banks, international financial institutions, climate funds, leading agro-businesses, and would be used for innovative finance for food system transformation, development of Nigeria's agro-value chain, and special agro-industrial processing zones program. And now from the foreign scene, more than 30 people have been killed in wildfires that are raging across Algeria. Those killed include 10 soldiers who were trying to get the flames under control in the face of high winds and scorching summer temperatures. At least 1,500 people were evacuated. Wildfires, some spread by strong winds, moved across forest and agricultural areas in 16 regions, causing 97 blazes in the North African country. The largest and deadliest fires ravaged parts of Béjaïa and Jidel in the Kabylie region east of Algiers and Bouira, about 100 kilometers southeast of the capital Algiers. Operation to tamp down the fires included some 7,500 firefighters and 350 trucks on the ground, as well as air support. Algeria is no stranger to summer wildfires. At least 37 persons or people were killed last August after wildfires blazed near its northern border with Tunisia. A year earlier, authorities said dozens were killed in blazes, including soldiers called in to help fight the fires in the mountainous Kabylie region that is dotted with villages. Strong winds and successive heat waves have fueled vicious fire in Greece and elsewhere around the Mediterranean this summer. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake shook the southern Turkish province of Adana, striking just under 6 months after the devastating quakes that killed more than 50,000 people in Turkey and Syria. The Kandili Earthquake Monitoring Center in Istanbul said the quake occurred at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Its epicenter was in the district of Kozan, about 64 kilometers, that's 40 miles from the city of Adana, and located near the Syrian border. The European Mediterranean Seismological Center said the earthquake was at a depth of 12 kilometers, about 7.5 miles. No injuries or damage have been reported so far. Seismologists estimate that earthquakes of a magnitude between 5.4 and 6.0 can cause slight damage to well-designed buildings and potentially major damage to poorly constructed buildings over small regions. The quake comes months after February's devastating earthquakes, which reached a 7.8 magnitude that caused a swath of destruction in the region and parts of northern Syria. In Turkey alone, more than 50,000 people died and tens of thousands of buildings were destroyed. Many of the houses that were damaged in the February earthquake have yet to be fully demolished. In sports, the Bayern Munich forward Sadio Mane is considering an offer to join Saudi Arabia Pro League side Al Nassr. Mane, 31, has fallen out of favor at the Bundesliga champions after an underwhelming first season following a 335 million euro move from Liverpool last summer. Reports suggest that Bayern are open to selling the Senegal international, with manager Thomas Tuchel saying Mane fell short of expectations. Mane has spoken to Al Nassr, but no deal has been agreed with the Saudi club. If Mane does move, he would link up with former Manchester United forward Cristiano Ronaldo, while ex-Red Devil Alex Telles and Croatia international Marcelo Brozovic have both joined the club this summer. After a successful spell at Anfield, where he won the Champions League and Premier League, Mane moved to Germany last summer, stating it was the right time for this challenge. But this time, there has turned sour after reports that he punched teammate Leroy Sané following a Champions League defeat by Manchester City in April, for which he was dropped from the squad as well as fined. Mane played 38 games for Bayern last season, scoring 12 goals. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms, and you can join our live stream for more news, documentaries, and programs. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.